Welcome to Doing More. I'm Erica Cardenas. Today we're in the garden to celebrate Earth Month. This is no ordinary garden though. We're at the Desert Botanical Garden in Phoenix. It's a beautiful place to visit and a great place to learn about the desert environment and how we can protect it. Cox Communications is also dedicated to protecting the environment, and a big part of that is keeping old electronic equipment out of landfills. Let's take a look.
My name is Sheldon Caldwell Meeks. I'm Senior Community Relations Specialist with Cox Communications. Cox Conserves is led by Cox Enterprises. It is our way of being environmentally responsible and sustainable as a company. We know technology is always evolving and changing extremely quickly. We're always making sure that we're being responsible with all of these new technologies that are coming today but may be gone tomorrow. So it's our duty to make sure those things don't end up hurting our environment, but that we're recycling properly and making sure they don't end up in a landfill.
So my name is Gilbert Sanchez. I'm the production manager with STS Recycling Phoenix branch. This is Strategic Telecom Supply and Solutions, also known as STSS Recycling. This building holds e-waste recyclables from Cox. Right now on site we have 17 trucks from Cox here, equivalating to 884,000 pounds of e-waste. Here we receive set-top boxes and modems along with miscellaneous electrical cords and components. Our goal here is to have zero waste, meaning that nothing goes to the landfill, everything is recycled. At the end of every production line, nothing is trashed out of any of these cable units here.
Our partnership with Strategic Telecom Solutions is a great one. They're an organization that helps us recycle all the old set-top boxes that come in or any of the technologies that our customers use so that they can break it down, scrap it to its component parts, and the parts that they can refurbish, they do. The parts that they can't, they recycle properly. A small revenue comes back from that process and goes right into Cox Charities, a program that puts money back into the community. We want to make sure things don't end up in a landfill and that they're properly recycled or reused in a way that betters our environment and the community.
You know, it kind of feels good that at the end of the day we're doing our part to make our recycling as efficient as possible and not contributing to the mess we got going on now. Working with Cox has been real good. Everybody's been real helpful as far as when they ship us our product, they do their best to sort it before it gets here and keeping us all busy.
Well, recycling is a big part of how we're going to reach our zero waste to landfill goal by 2024. Electronic recycling in particular. We provide ways for our employees to bring their old, outdated technology so it doesn't make its way to a landfill and it's properly recycled. In addition, we also provide ways for the community to bring their old and outdated technology so that it doesn't find its way into a landfill. It's properly destroyed and recycled. It's important at Cox Communications that we better the community in which we live and work. So if you have something that you're throwing away, just think twice before throwing it in the trash and find a way to properly recycle it.
We're at a very special place here in the garden. I'm surrounded by these tanukis created by internationally renowned artist June Kaneko. There are 20 bronze and ceramic sculptures throughout the gardens. Makes for a terrific Mother's Day outing. We'll be back with more on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More. April is Earth Month, and we're celebrating it here at the Desert Botanical Garden in Phoenix, where we're surrounded by the beauty of the Sonoran Desert. Conservation of this desert landscape extends to the animals that call Arizona home, including the monarch butterfly. The number of monarchs has declined by as much as 90%, but the good news is you can help by planting a butterfly garden, including milkweed and other nectar plants. You can find all the information you need on the garden's website. Cox Communications also cares greatly about the environment, and we've partnered with the Trust for Public Land to recognize a true conservation hero.
Climbers here in Tucson wanted to take care of the spaces that we climb here on Mount Lemmon. Get it? Nice job. CASA formed to provide framework and structure to support them in doing all those really cool projects. My name's Eric Safaya, and I'm the president of the Climbing Association of Southern Arizona. Rock climbing happens predominantly on public lands, and here in Tucson it happens on Mount Lemmon, which is administered by the Forest Service. The work that we do up here, which includes erosion control, restoration projects, trail maintenance, litter pickups, graffiti removal off the natural rock surfaces, that benefits more than just climbers. That's good for the entire Tucson community. We're going to benefit picnickers, backpackers, hikers, bird lovers, equestrians, mountain bikers, everybody that uses this part of the Forest Services Trail. Pretty much anybody who wants to come spend a day on this beautiful mountain. My job in CASA is to support, like belaying a climber, all that awesome work that these very, very talented people need to do the amazing thing that they want to do. Awesome. Thank you for being the kind of climbers who want to give back to their community. Every time I see you out here, I get goosebumps. Thank you. Here, here.
TPL's partnership with Cox Enterprises has been a wonderful motivator for local communities to really tell their stories. Cox Conserve Heroes made an impact in many, many communities. The volume of inspirational stories that have come through this program, that's the real success. Thousands of people have been exposed so far. It's not just about the land, it's also about the people and about how land and people come together. And that's one of the reasons that this program, the Cox Conserves Hero Initiative, has been so important to the Trust for Public Land in helping make those connections between land and people and inspiration. You know, plenty of corporations talk about corporate social responsibility, but Cox is really doing it. And they have been for a long time. And it's not surprising. It's really part of their DNA. I guess if there's one thing I could say in closing, it would be thank you. Thank you certainly to Cox Enterprises for the Cox Conserves Heroes program, but also to the communities and the thousands of people that have submitted entries and the wonderful stories that we've gotten to hear about local efforts, local heroes, local inspiration.
Spring is a busy time in the desert with so many wildflowers and cacti in bloom. And with the flowers come the butterflies. You won't want to miss the Spring Butterfly exhibit here at the Desert Botanical Garden, where you can see hundreds of North American butterflies like painted ladies, zebra longwings, and giant swallowtails. The kids will especially enjoy the caterpillar nursery and the emergence chamber. Spring is also a big time for migrating birds, and a visit to the Audubon Center of Arizona is another terrific outing. Take a look.
Audubon, Arizona is the state office of the National Audubon Society, which is a national network of chapters, state offices, wonderful people who care about birds and the environment and conservation, over 114 years old. So we are charged with connecting people to nature and to conserve critical habitats throughout the state, primarily for birds, but also other wildlife, using education, science, and advocacy. So we do that with intensely hands-on nature education programs for children, teens, adults, and at the same time that we're teaching essential concepts about the life sciences and what it takes to preserve these habitats, we're also doing authentic, needed conservation work in the field. So that's one of our signature strengths. It's what we do every day, and we invite everyone to join us. What was once the community's garbage dump had tremendous potential for being restored to what it could have looked like, say, 100 years ago, with strategic scientific planting of native plants and also the introduction of water.
Our Downtown Owl Project is a pre-existing program that we have here at Audubon, Arizona. We've introduced over 100 burrowing owls into the habitat. All the owls were displaced from their homes at one point or another. One of the biggest reasons why we really want to get public outreach for the burrowing owls is because a lot of people just don't know that they exist. You know what I mean? When you think of an owl, you think of a large nocturnal bird. They're a diurnal species of raptor. They live underground. They're pretty atypical of just about any other bird out there. And they're really at risk from habitat degradation. You know, I think it's important that we do conserve it for for not only us, but for future generations as well.
We have something here for everyone, for little children, teens, adults. We offer, just as an example, after-school programs for teens and kids enrolled in the Boys and Girls Club. We get them out on the trails. We teach them how to use binoculars. We have them scoop mud from the pond. So it's a direct extension of what they're learning in school. For adults, we have something called our monthly Birds and Beer. You may be familiar with it, just like what it sounds. In late October, where we're standing in this area, will be full of hundreds and hundreds of children and their families learning nature by night. We open up our trails to teach children about nocturnal animals. It will take a collective effort of the community, of donors, of volunteers to take action now to conserve and preserve what we love about the outdoors.
So much to see and do here in Arizona in the springtime. I have more good news stories coming up on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More. I'm Erica Cardenas. We're at the Desert Botanical Garden in Phoenix celebrating Earth Month. But here on Doing More, we also like to share stories about people caring for other people. We call these good news stories, and I have a great one. A dental clinic that's putting smiles on the faces of the homeless and poor.
Hi, my name is Chris Volchek. I'm the CEO of Brighter Way Institute. Phoenix is no different than every other major city. There is generally no dental care for the homeless, and that's really why this was founded. While still practicing dentistry, I just started volunteering at the homeless shelter at the time. I fell in love with that population, but then I found out there was no dentistry for them. So that's what precipitated me opening that 2-chair trailer in that field. Crowns, bridges, root canals, everything that your doctor can give you, we did in the trailer. You can imagine going from that trailer to here, what we're now able to offer. We now give implants and full mouth reconstructions on this site. I started the dental program under the CAS shelter. They allowed me to incubate this program. CAS is a generous, lovely nonprofit. They were in shelter, but they saw that no one was giving dental, so they allowed me to do that. Other populations, when you're serving as a nonprofit, you can ask for $10 or $20 or $30 if they're the working poor. You can't even ask for $1 for the homeless. That's a barrier to care, so it had to be free for the homeless. We grew into this 8-chair clinic that serves adults, veterans. We formed the Parsons Pediatric Center, and that's a 10-chair clinic that treats children from 0 to 21, half of them undocumented, half of them documented. They see about 18,000 children a year. Off of that came another foster children's clinic, and that's down at the Canyon State Academy. So right now we have those 3 clinics, one for adults and veterans, one for our Hispanic children, undocumented and documented, and then our foster children's clinic. We give our veterans and our homeless full mouth implants. We either place dentures or crown and bridge on those. That's generally a $20,000 or $30,000 case. We do that here on a weekly basis for our homeless and for our veterans. We bring now in the working poor, and we have a lot of working poor in this surrounding area. So maybe they give 25% of the market rate, but that 25% then subsidizes my homeless and my veterans who can give nothing. And that's the combination between that for-profit and non-profit hybrid. I wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise. You're going to have competent dentistry, highest technology, lots of empathy, but you will know that you are helping others while you're getting this best care. I want to pay it forward, and that's what's happening here.
Now that's a good news story. And here's another one. Everyone's heard of NASCAR, but not everyone has heard of the NASCAR Foundation and their mission to help children live happier, healthier lives. Recently, the Tolleson School District was a beneficiary of their generosity. Take a look.
So NASCAR has come to you today in the city of Tolleson. How cool is that?
We take a little bit of NASCAR and we bring it into the community. So we have pace cars, we have our mascots here.
Who is ready to meet some real race car drivers?
There are so many NASCAR fans here in Arizona, so this really brings up the excitement.
1, 2, 3, go!
And our students are getting to learn so much about what it takes to be healthy and fit and really dream to do anything.
3, 2, 1.
It's really grateful for me to be able to put a little seed on a big cause and just try to help NASCAR and the NASCAR Foundation on all the efforts they do to help communities as they need, and they'll try to reach almost every place, not just in the United States, but they also try to reach places in Mexico, in Canada, in Europe, where NASCAR is growing and NASCAR is involved. And on my side, it's really cool just to be with these energetic kids and just start the morning with a big smile.
It is so neat that NASCAR Foundation has an arm called Pediatrics. So they combine the words speed and pediatrics to help out our kids live a healthy lifestyle. And at Tolleson Elementary, we have a Banner Children's Clinic. So they actually raise funds philanthropically to be able to offer services to our kids in the community.
The clinic here it's the only health clinic that's on a school campus in the state of Arizona. So rather than when kids get sick, if they have to go to the emergency room for their care, it's not only costly and time consuming, now the clinic's right on the property. So when the kids get sick, they can go to the clinic and it's less time, it's less money, more efficient way for them to get the services that they need.
It takes about $50,000 to run the clinic with a nurse practitioner and a bilingual medical assistant. Any child who's underinsured or uninsured, so they don't have any health insurance, they can come to our children's clinic. And it does not have to be anyone just from the community of Tolleson. It is open to the whole valley. So if they're uninsured, underinsured, they can come get their well checkups, they can come get their immunizations, they can come get their sports physicals. It is quite the organization.
So on behalf of us, here is a $20,000 check.
We're so thrilled. They donated $20,000 towards Banner Children's Clinic.
It costs a lot of money to run this. And IMS and the NASCAR Foundation basically donating $20,000 to our program is a real shot in the arm.
We race 36 times a year and we go from racetrack to racetrack, and it's really important for the foundation to leave something in the community when we move on to the next race. And so that's our way of giving back, by leaving something here in this community.
There's always something fun happening at the Desert Botanical Garden, from their Music in the Garden concert series to flashlight tours and so much more. Be sure to check out their event schedule at dbg.org. I'll be back with more on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More. The desert is the perfect place for a cactus, and a cactus makes the perfect home for a cactus wren. There's a perfect place for everything and everyone. Your home is the perfect place for you. And now with Cox Communications connected home technology, seniors can stay safe and secure in their own homes. The perfect place for them.
We have a great opportunity today to demonstrate what we call Connected Independence, and it's a collection of smart home applications that ride on our broadband network that really help seniors stay and continue to live independently. We've provided a lot of connectivity to the building here by the PB Bell partners. We have broadband services, gigabit internet speeds here in this complex, and what that does is it gives the residents all the capacity they need to be able to take advantage of some of these great Connected Independence and connected home applications. We know that by 2020, we're going to have about 199 million senior citizens in this country. That's 2 short years away. And we also see research that says 90% of seniors over 65 want to continue to age in place. They want to stay independent in the homes where they've been living.
There are a lot of needs that people have as they're aging that limit their mobility, their ability to leave their home, to be able to grocery shop, to be able to visit their doctor. The technology that's enabled in a smart home that's interconnected allows people to interact with their doctor on a daily basis if that's needed, allows them to order groceries to be delivered if that's needed, allows family members who might live in another state to be able to monitor and talk with and see their parents to make sure that they're in a good place and that things are going well.
A partner company that Cox owns called Tripolo that is all about telehealth. It's basically using the home as a place to stay healthy and get healthy versus going into the doctor or having to get in an ambulance and ride to an emergency room. So we have the connectivity that will connect you with a doctor. They can monitor your vital signs, see how you're doing, how you're feeling. It's a really, really good technology.
What we do is we design, implement, manage all the non-clinical aspects of in-home monitoring program. More and more in healthcare, we are starting to see that health systems, health plans, and home health agencies are sending patients home with certain devices and technology to monitor them so they don't end up back in the hospital, in the emergency room, or one of the more expensive care options.
Hi, Pamela. How you feeling today?
Hi, Dr. Kane. I'm okay, but I'm feeling a little tired and groggy today.
One of Cox's missions is to make life's most important connections, and I think there is no connection more important than safety and making sure people feel safe and secure in their home.
I think the promise of connected independence and smart home technology coupled with our Cox network, it gives seniors the opportunity to live a more full life than they could otherwise live. In some cases, it's going to help save lives. In most cases, what it's going to do is just dramatically improve the quality of life and give people the independence that they've always wanted. And for service provider like Cox Communications, that's tremendously gratifying.
Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to get outside and celebrate Earth Month. Plant a tree, a garden, perhaps a butterfly garden. And be sure to visit the Desert Botanical Garden, where you'll always find plenty of inspiration. I'm Erica Cardenas, and I'll see you next time on Doing More.